I'm Dylan Howe from Bend.
I'm Shan Bruland from Haynes.
I'm Jesse Crawford from Portland.
And I'm Rachel Mackey from Beaverton.
Our group is addressing education and specifically reducing or shrinking our class sizes. We all know that smaller classes means better education because there's more interaction between students and the teacher, and it's easier for students to get specialized help. Now, the solution to large class sizes seems pretty simple, right? You hire more teachers so you can add more classes. But the budget quickly makes this very prohibitive. We've come up with one plan that is inexpensive, it's fairly fast to implement, and could be very effective. And there are a number of other concepts we came up with. We chose to focus specifically on this one. Now, the basis of the plan is small groups of students. Small groups of students allow you to take a class of 35 people, like this one, and reduce it into small groups. These students in these groups can communicate with each other very individually and help tell each other. You can see the difference. You can also see that Governor Kulingoski is visiting. The students are very excited. Now, the key advantage of small student groups is the varying levels of understanding among students. Very often in classes, you have students that understand the concept very well, and students that are much less familiar with it. By breaking students into small groups, students more familiar with the concept can explain it to others, bringing everyone to the same level. Now, many teachers are already implementing plans like this, so we know they're effective. For example,
in one of my classes, it's a philosophy class, so it's totally discussion-based. And in this class, we get to discuss all sorts of subjects. So we don't just talk about big philosophies. We end up talking about math, science, English, and history and stuff. And so because of it, we are in these groups, and our teacher just gives us a question. And in these groups, we can discuss the question, and if we don't get it, we can ask him questions if no one in our group can get it. And he also gives us chances to ask our own questions and lead our own discussions. And it's really helpful because it teaches us how to come up with our own questions and our own critical thinking. And it teaches us how to carry on a discussion. And these are needed skills in our new economy.
now we can take this concept even a few steps further. First, there's a large number of individuals in the community who are qualified to help teach students at various subjects but aren't teachers. We can try and identify volunteers from the community that can function as facilitators to student conversations. They can help direct group discussions, and they can also share their expertise if they have any in a given field. Even further, we can teach students both the skills to facilitate these discussions and to research problems so that they can solve them themselves. As we break up problems and give them to individual students, we can have students teach each other, and we're learning more with less teachers. Now, this plan is, as I mentioned, inexpensive. It's primarily just encouraging teachers to use some new techniques, and it's based for the additional individuals working on volunteer labor. But it can be almost as effective as identifying more, or as bringing in more teachers to create smaller classes. Now, ultimately, it would of course be ideal to actually create smaller classes, but as long as the budget prohibits that, Oregon can continue to be a leader in education through the use of plans like this that improve education with minimal spending. Thank you.
Activate Oregon.